Good morning. It's Tuesday, May 14th, and this is your history video for today. You have 3 pages to read, 332 to 334. This is a section about President Kennedy. Now, President Kennedy was only president for basically about a little bit over, just short of 3 years. He became president, took the office, was voted in November of 1960, took office in 1961. And was killed in November 23rd of 1963. November 15th, 1964, I was born. So this is right before my existence on the earth came to light. And I was born in Miami, Florida, and part of what Kennedy dealt with had to do with near where Miami, Florida was. Kennedy was he was the youngest man who was ever elected president. You have to be at least 35 in order to be elected president, but he was the youngest one who's ever been elected, the youngest aged person. And he started, different things like the Peace Corps. He dealt with the Cuban Missile Crisis, and that was something that was, Fidel Castro was involved with as the dictator of Cuba, and also Nikita Khrushchev, who was the Soviet dictator, who was sending the missiles to Cuba to do that. And so he's also had to deal with the Berlin Wall. The Berlin Wall was built by communist Soviet Union to keep people who were in East Germany, which was communist, from leaving, going to West Germany, which was free, because people were trying to flee communism. And you see a picture there, page 333, dealing with those particular event, or with that wall in particular. The wall came down in 1994, I think it was, maybe 92. I remember President Reagan, when he made the speech, or made a speech at that time, that basically said, he had challenged it was Nikita Gorbachev at that time, to tear down the wall there in Germany, and to basically removed the Soviet Union from existence around that time when it happened. And so the Cuban Missile Crisis, and the United States finding it with the spy plane. We had these planes, and they still use them even today, I believe. Maybe they don't use them today anymore, but the U-2, I think, is what it was called. They fly really high, but they have incredibly accurate cameras that pinpoint, down to, within like a 10-foot space. And so they could actually get pictures of people. Now they use satellites today, but they used the plane then, spy planes they were called. And they were able to get pictures of missile sites there in Cuba. And so anyway, that's what you're going to be reading. And you're only doing one page, 234, so should be able to do that well. Don't forget, let's see what else you have. You do have quiz 15B, and I will give you the things you need to know for that. And right here just now, know about the United Nations and what its purpose was, what the NATO stands for. You need to know what the Open Skies policy was, the words "In God We Trust," and about what was with those. And then I think I did give these to you yesterday, but I'm not sure. Now I'm looking at these, and they look very familiar now. I think I have given them to you yesterday, so that's for your quiz for yesterday. But for today. It is for today's, but I just gave it to you yesterday's video. But I'll give it to you again. It's okay. And then you need to know what the St. Lawrence Seaway was for, about TV and how that became important in our culture and the world. You need to know about these four men: Douglas MacArthur and Alan Shepard and Joseph McCarthy and John Glenn, and who they were and how they were important, as well as Mao Zedong and the Cold War and their importance, and Joseph McCarthy, as well as the other four that I had given you. And so, or actually, I guess I already gave you that one. So those 6 things: MacArthur, McCarthy, Shepard, Glenn, Mao Zedong, and the Cold War, and what those things mean. So those are the questions that will help you to get a good grade in history. I hope that's helped to you. Have a wonderful, wonderful